Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we've got a little bit of breaking news, which is why I'm coming to you late this evening, because Wonder Woman 1984 has now officially been announced to not only being released Christmas Day in theaters, but to be widely released on HBO Max on the same day. And now, instead of it being a wide release at theaters, it'll only be released in select theaters, because obviously there are several theater chains and several different theater networks that are not really keen on having movies hosted at their theaters when they are also at the same time being put onto video on demand and PVOD. Though, of course, I think that the hesitance and the resistance of many theater chains is going to start to very much dissolve quickly, because they need to have these movies. They need to have something to show in their theater. You know, obviously the classics will bring some people back, but the real things that are going to be able to bring back enough people to start their business being able to essentially grow and be sustained again are new tentpole releases like Wonder Woman 1984. And so here we have it right here. It was originally broken by The Hollywood Reporter, now being covered here by Deadline, the box office section. So as it says, Wonder Woman 1984 going into theaters and HBO Max on Christmas Day. Unprecedented for a superhero tentpole. Yeah, seriously, this is, I think, right now the biggest film to have this happen to it. Obviously, we can think about other films this year that got released on streaming services, like Disney's Mulan was up to that point the biggest film, and based on what we know about it, there are some that kind of spin it to say that it was a huge success on video on demand, spending the $30 or so on that film on Disney Plus. There's others that say maybe it wasn't nearly as good. The range on that is kind of a little bit crazy. I guess we'll find out more when their financials from Disney are released, but this is, of course, a huge film from Warner Brothers. This is also a huge film, just the fact that it's a DCEU title. It is a sequel to a very successful movie that very much was on the way and on a pace to get close to $1 billion. Many people thought that this was going to be the film that put one film in the Wonder Woman franchise over $1 billion before all the things happened with COVID. And obviously this is a film that's been pushed back several times over and over and over again, which has kind of just been the theme of 2020 when it comes to movies. And now it is officially going to be staying on Christmas Day. And for a long time, I thought they were going to push that back, because there was a lot of rumors about, hey, they're going to release it on HBO Max. And then there's others saying, no, they would never do that. They're going to push it into 2021 instead. And I honestly thought that that was likely the route that was going to be taken, was to push it into 2021. But of course, now they are actually putting it out onto HBO Max. So it says here, Warner has made the whole Wonder Woman 1984 December 25 day and date release a theatrical HBO Max release official. Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar released a note about the media conglomerate's wild decision. Director Patty Jenkins also tweeted confirmation of the news this afternoon, saying, in part, at some point you have to choose to share any love and joy you have to give over everything else. We love our movie as we love our fans, so we truly hope that our film brings a little bit of joy and reprieve to all of you this holiday season, which is just very nice talk for. We spent a lot of money on this movie. We've been pushing this film back. It's costing us even more money, and we have to make something back. I mean, that's honestly, let's just be honest for a second, Patty Jenkins. Again, I love the work you did on the first film, and typically I liked hearing what you have to say in your interviews, because people try and normally make it all focused about, oh, have we mentioned that you're a female director? And she kind of tries to twist it to say, yeah, let's just talk about me instead of just being a director in general and not just a female director, which I kind of like, but of course no one's perfect on that. But don't try and spin this as we're doing this for the fans. I just honestly, I don't buy that when any director says it, because we all know that it's really all about doing it for the money. And Lord knows she was probably given kind of the nudge from Warner Brothers, from the higher ups there, saying, hey, we really need you to promote this and be happy about it, even though obviously you probably would have rather have seen this released on the big screen. And one thing in there is that actually you can see from her tweet, it does say, watch it in theaters when it is made safe to do so. So she's very much trying to push people to go see it on the big screen, but because it's going to be very limited in the number of theaters that it's going to be released in, since it's no longer going to be a wide theatrical release, a lot of people who might have been open to seeing it on the big screen are not going to be given the option, especially with shutdowns and lockdowns coming forward now, with cases going up and people, again, trying to force this nonsense on everybody. Who knows how much money this film is actually going to end up making in the first place. It says here, Wonder Woman 84 gets an international theatrical release wherever theaters are open on December 16th, so international marketplaces will likely hold it. I imagine that it'll probably do pretty well in the Asian marketplace especially. HBO Max isn't charging an additional amount to subs like Disney did with Mulan for those stateside. Iowan has the movie dated for a December 25th release in China as well. The first Wonder Woman made $90.5 million there, and so they expect it to make as much, if not more, in China. We'll, of course, see how that works out, because when it comes to releases in China, especially Western releases in China, it really hasn't been doing too much and too well over there right now. Obviously, there are films doing well in Japan and other areas and other marketplaces over there, but typically it is going to be the actual, for instance, there was a recent film from Japan that actually has done incredibly well. It's an anime, a manga adapted anime movie that has been doing well, Demon Slayer over there. But this is, again, huge news, a huge superhero film being released onto demand services. And yeah, HBO Max, it's a service that I really have been very critical of them, because one, they just recently, over the past couple of days, were finally put onto Fire TV devices, Amazon devices, and to this day they have still not been put onto the wide range of Roku devices, which is, again, one of the largest streaming platforms out there. So I'm still very much critical of HBO Max. Of course, also their decisions to put warning labels in front of films, to take films off for a certain period of time because of just crazy nonsense political messaging. Even with all that, though, there's still obviously I think a lot of content on there, and I think the price for what you're getting and what you're paying for is for the most part pretty good. And I think that, hey, you're basically paying, if you decide to sign up for the month of December so that you can watch this film, you are essentially paying for what a typical movie theater price ticket would be. And so I would say, hey, if this is something that you want to go see and you're in an area where things are getting locked down, this might be worth spending that money to get HBO Max and to try it out for a little bit, and by the end of the month, be able to access also Wonder Woman 1984. I know that I'm planning to watch it so that I can review it for the channel, but obviously this is some pretty crazy stuff. So anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is going to work for them? Do you think that their number of subscriptions are going to go up? I know that's kind of what their plan was for when the Snyder Cut got released next year, so maybe they'll kind of get a test run to see if this is a kind of movie, if this kind of tentpole film can even push forward subs in a certain way that could possibly help them make some money back. And also, how much money do you think it's going to make in its limited theatrical release? Obviously, United States, it'll be very limited. It'll be much more widespread overseas, and typically films make a lot more money overseas than they do in the United States, so it could end up being a wash for them, especially since they get pretty much 100% of all the profits from their membership. So let me know your thoughts about that. Anything I talked about in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It helps out a lot. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. And before I go, make sure you check me out. I am now available on Rumble. I know a few people have been saying you should really try Rumble out, and I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm going to try and upload my videos to Rumble and YouTube around the same time if I can. So I know there's a lot of people that have been looking for a YouTube alternative, so I'm going to try out Rumble. Again, it still has a lot of things to work on. It still has a lot of work to do, but hey, it's an alternative for anyone that has been looking for one. Thank you again for your support. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my November Patreon and Subscribestar members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wienerdog Clan, Harold Francis, the Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jay, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Laura Story ×2, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, or Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B., the Empress of the Universe. Thank you all for being my Patreon members, and a shout out, of course, to my Subscribestar members: Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nabadan G. Adams, and ZK-Man. Thank you to my Subscribestar and Patreon members for supporting me for this month. I hope that you are enjoying your perks of getting access to things like a podcast, to giveaways, and also, of course, to other exclusive content. I know I've fallen a little bit behind with the birth of Baby Thor, and so I thank you very much for your patience and, of course, for your continued support. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.